Hello and welcome to Devil's Advocate. How does the left view its prospects in the forthcoming elections? That's one of the key issues I shall explore today with CPM General Secretary Prakash Karat. Mr. Karat, let's start with the forthcoming elections in West Bengal and Kerala. There's a widespread expectation that the left will lose both. Can you accept that the wind is against you?
No, I think these expectations will be belied. In the case of West Bengal, we have seen this in the last two elections in 2001 and 2006 also. They said we are facing a very difficult fight, and we proved that we could win, and quite comfortably.
All right, let's for a moment focus first on Bengal. I'll come to Kerala later. Last year in 2010, you lost the provincial polls. In 2009, you lost the national polls as well as the state by-elections. In 2008, you lost the panchayat elections. Isn't there a clear trend against you?
No, in the Lok Sabha elections and the municipal elections, we lost ground. We have taken note of that, and in the last 1 year since then, we have made efforts to recover the ground.
But when you say you made efforts to recover the ground, just concentrate for a moment on the sweeping nature of these three electoral defeats. In 2009, you collapsed to your worst ever performance in a national election in your party's 47-year history. In 2010, in the provincial polls, you won just 18 out of 81, whilst Trinamool and Congress won 40 together. The ground that you have to make up is huge.
We have made up ground, and the response we are getting in the last few months in particular show that we have recovered ground quite a lot compared to what was the situation in 2009.
But are you really telling me that you've recovered enough ground to be able to claim that you can win the state elections?
Yes, our assessment now is that we will win the elections. We know that there is a very strong combination against us. That is an anti-left combination which stretches from the right to the extreme left. But despite that, we are confident of winning the elections.
I want to make you repeat it. You're really saying to me sincerely, and this is not bravado, that you believe you can win the elections in Bengal?
Yes.
But look for a moment at the collapse in your party, not just your party, the left's image in the state. Nandigram and Singur have battered you. In contrast, Mamata Banerjee's simplicity, integrity, and her stand on Nandigram and Singur are being praised. Your negatives have become her positives.
No, it's not. As far as Singur is concerned, I do not think the people of Bengal are going to blame us for the loss of that automobile project.
You mean they've forgiven you or they've forgotten?
No, they are not going to blame us, I said. They're going to blame the Trinamool Congress for this.
But what about the impression that's been created that you were land grabbing at the cost of the poor? That's the real problem.
I think that propaganda against us has been dispelled, because they look at our record for the last 34 years, that this is the state which has distributed land to the highest level in the entire country.
You know, you say that has been dispelled, and in fact you called it propaganda, but let me quote to your colleague, the General Secretary of the CPI, A.B. Bardhan. He says, and I'm quoting, that after 34 years in power, the left in Bengal has become swollen-headed, arrogant and alienated. And then he added, it seems to me that there is some alienation between our cadres and our activists on the one hand and the people on the other. Are you saying that he's wrong?
The statement was made
roughly 8 months ago.
That's what I was going to say, more than 6 months ago. One aspect is that if there is alienation among any sections of the people, with our party and our party organization, we have identified that and taken steps to remove that alienation.
What steps have you taken?
Well, at the party level, at the government level, we have taken steps. We have reached out to these people. We have forged links again with people who may have turned away from us.
You may have taken steps and you may have reached out. How do you know that it's actually had the desired effect on the people? Because everyone is saying that the left is heading towards its first defeat in 34 years.
We have won elections 7 times. We have a party organization which makes an assessment of our support, of the type of links we have with the people, and we will rely on that organization again to make an assessment.
But isn't that one of the problems you face, that after 34 years in power, there's a certain boredom or at least an ennui with you? People want a change. You're battling against anti-incumbency.
Let us see what the people decide. As far as we are concerned, we are confident that the people of Bengal will judge us and judge the Trinamool Congress alliance by what they stand for and their respective records.
Let me give you one other reason why people believe that actually within your hearts the left is terribly scared. Look at the nature of your candidates. You've dropped 91 sitting MLAs, including 9 ministers. Over 50% of the people...
It's not scared, it's a part of a party policy. In the last election, we dropped as many
well, actually, this time you've dropped...
in 2006.
This time you have 8.9% more new faces than you had in 2006.
I hope it's good. We wanted it.
But in fact, you've gone even further. You've increased Muslim representation by 33%, women's representation by 35%. In fact, overall, over 50% of the faces and candidates you're fielding are new and untried. Most people say that when a party takes such radical reform, it's a clear sign of desperation.
Well, they can't have their cake and eat it too, because on the other hand, they say we keep repeating the same old faces and they don't bring any change or don't bring any new people.
So your bottom line is you're going to win in Bengal and surprise everyone.
Our approach is that whatever reverses we suffered, we have learnt the lessons from that. Our Chief Minister has again and again said that we have learned from those mistakes and we are confident the people will support us.
Let's then come to Kerala. Now this is a state where for over 40 years since 1970, at each election, a new government has been formed in Thiruvananthapuram. Do you really have the confidence to say you're going to buck a 40-year trend?
No, I think that is overrated, this 5-year cyclical change. There have been instances where elections have been won by the same party again.
Not since 1970.
But in 91, there was an aberration because we would have won the election, but an abnormal situation developed after Mr. Rajiv Gandhi's assassination.
Whatever.
So I'm confident that here also we can break this 5-year pattern.
But really, look at the handicap that you face when you go into this particular poll. Your party goes in literally torn between the Pinari Vijayan faction on the one hand and Achyutanandan on the other. That's a huge handicap.
In fact, this is exactly what they said in 2006 when they said our party is riven by factionalism and we won the highest number of seats ever in Kerala.
But you're forgetting an important fact that in 2006, the LDF was new, the UDF had been in power, you had anti-incumbency in your favor. This time, anti-incumbency is against you.
As far as we can tell, there is no real anti-incumbency in Kerala against the LDF government.
But the problem is that you're creating your own problem. Look at the flip-flop over the candidature of Achyutanandan. It happened in 2006, but because circumstances were different, you survived it. It's now happened in 2011 when anti-incumbency is against you, and it's going to underline to everyone what a divided house you are.
No, it's not that. Our party held consultations at all levels before finalizing the candidates.
And then reversed it.
No, we didn't make any change.
But you decided...
The final list of candidates was announced on the 18th of March. There was no change in that list.
Except that the state committee had announced, and it was on every front page, that Achyutanandan would not be a candidate. 2 days later, you changed it.
We expected that. That is why in the media it would come in this way. That is why the final list of candidates was not finalized till the state committee sent it down for opinions down below to the party committees, and then they made the finalization.
But even despite the controversy, there's another reason why people say that Achyutanandan's candidature shows that you're out of touch with the mood of the people. He's 87. Ordinarily, at his age, he should be happy to retire. Yet you're fielding him again at a time when polls by Deccan Chronicle show that 42% of young Kerala voters between 18 and 25 prefer the UDF and only 31 prefer your alliance, the LDF. He's the wrong man for these people.
Everybody says the strong point of the LDF has been the Chief Minister V.S. Achyutanandan and his record as the Chief Minister for the past 5 years.
Then it's even more bizarre that you should have actually seriously considered at the state level not fielding him.
No, there was no such question at all. The discussions inside the party culminated in a final decision by the state committee which announced Mr. Achyutanandan as the candidate.
Except the problem is that the discussions inside the party have been published outside the party.
For information, the Malayalam media is only speculating why from the Politburo I did not go and take a decision there. We didn't do that because we wanted the state committee to take the decision.
But the problem is that all of this has been on the front pages, it's been on television. Hasn't it underlined the belief that this is a divided party?
As you said, this is what was done in 2006 also. It didn't matter at all to the result.
So just like Bengal, you're saying to me, that you're confident you're going to win Kerala?
We are hopeful. We are expecting a good result in Kerala too.
Is that confidence, or are you being careful with your words?
No, we have made an assessment. The issues which will dominate the Kerala elections will be price rise and corruption, in which the Congress and the UDF will stand indicted because of the record of the central government.
So I'm going to end this part by getting you to repeat, just for clarity, what you have already said a couple of times. You're saying to me, as General Secretary of the CPM,
yes,
and the most important person in the left as a whole, that you believe the left will retain power in both Bengal and Kerala.
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yes.
You really mean it?
In both Bengal and Kerala.
You sure this isn't going to end up being famous last words?
No.
All right, let's take a break at that point. Let's come back and switch to WikiLeaks. That's in a moment's time. See you after the break. Welcome back to Devil's Advocate and an interview with CPM General Secretary Prakash Karat. Mr. Karat, let's come to WikiLeaks and let's first talk about allegations that MPs were bought in 2008. In your eyes, is this just an opportunity to embarrass the government, or do you really believe that Congress MPs like Satish Sharma would boast to unknown, unnamed junior employees of the American embassy that they had not only bribed 4 RLD MPs, but that they had a stash of 50 crores to bribe more?
First of all, I think it should be clear that these are cables sent by the US Embassy in India to the State Department, and they are reporting something which is confidential. It was not meant to be made public. So I don't see any reason why US Embassy officials should fabricate something which is not there.
Except that
secondly, we don't see this as the first proof available of such a bribery or vote for cash having happened, because all of us who were there involved at that time in the vote of confidence, on the day before the vote of confidence, the days preceding that, every party got reports of MPs being approached by ruling party persons offering money or other forms of intimidation, etc.
I won't deny that contemporaneously...
So we are all gone public. We are all held press conferences saying this is what is happening.
I won't deny that contemporaneously many people believe that there was bribing happening or about to happen. The problem is, in these leaks, it's not Stephen White, the chargé d'affaires, who actually saw the money or who had this conversation with Nachiketa Kapoor. It's an unnamed junior employee of his embassy, so junior that he can't even be defined by his designation. Now, that man may have been misled. He may have been actually making up a story for all we know. Stephen White was simply relying on what he was told.
No, I think the
really
person involved, a fairly good idea can be got. It is at the level of the political officer or the political councillor.
Well, we don't know that the junior employee is the political counsellor.
Nobody said he's a junior employee.
Well, he's described as an employee of the US Embassy. He's not described as political counsellor.
We know the type of people who maintain contact with political parties and political leaders. Generally, it's the political officer, the political counsellor.
Let me bluntly put it like this. Are you really prepared to believe the word of an unnamed employee of the US Embassy over the word of the Prime Minister of India?
We believe this as additional confirmation of what we already know. And the case is not of 3 MPs inside the parliament producing cash. There were innumerable instances of money being offered to MPs. And I can give you a whole list of them because we compiled them at that time.
All right, so you're saying to me that you believe the credibility.
And this was done by the Congress leadership, and I don't see how the Prime Minister was ignorant of this.
So you're saying to me that you believe the cable which says that there was money.
I'm saying it is an additional confirmation.
Additional confirmation. It fits into a pattern.
It fits into what we already know.
Let's come to something else that WikiLeaks has revealed. David Mulford, then American ambassador, says that he believes that the cabinet reshuffle in 2006, where Mani Shankar Iyer was replaced by Murli Deora as petroleum minister, was done to enhance Indo-US relations. At that time, your party was supporting the government. Is this true?
It's 100% true. And that same cable says the left is going to be infuriated by this reshuffle.
How do you know it's 100% true?
Because we knew it. We knew why Mani Shankar Iyer was shifted out of the petroleum ministry.
You knew it at the time?
Yes. We knew why it was done.
And what was the reason why you think it
was
was done?
Because of the energy policy he pursued, which is said there in the cable.
So
his efforts to bring the India-Pakistan Iran pipeline to fruition, his efforts to bring an alternative security energy grid, his talks in China, all this we knew. That is why he was being shifted
So
out.
you're saying to me, and you're saying it as General Secretary of the CPM.
And they bring a pro-American person into the ministry, replacing Manishankar Iyer.
So you're saying,
we strongly objected to that.
You're saying to me as General Secretary and as a man whose party supported the government in 2006 that at that time in 2006 you knew that Mani was replaced by Murli Deora as Petroleum Minister because Mani was pursuing an energy policy the Americans didn't like.
Exactly.
Murli Deora would have pursued a policy they would have liked. That's why he was replaced.
That is
with the other man.
only part of this. But the entire cabinet shuffle or the expansion brought in, as the cable points out, people who are closely associated with the United States of America.
So you believe all those other claims made in that cable that people like
Because
Anand Sharma, Kapil Sibal were all brought in?
The entire 2006 was the period we were having increasing problems with the UPA government for their adopting pro-American policies.
Let me put this to you. If you were aware at the time, and additionally, without your support, the government couldn't have survived, why did you at the time protest?
No, we are protesting all the time.
You never protested in public.
Why should we protest in public? We conveyed our displeasure to the Prime Minister on the Iran policy, on the IAEA vote. We cannot interfere in cabinet making, but we made public responses. We made public responses.
But Mr. Karat, never once in public did anyone from the left, not just you, anyone from the left ever say that these cabinet reshuffles are happening at America's behest to please America and to follow a pro-American line.
Let me finish. On policy matters, we went on record from 2005 July, when the Prime Minister went to Washington on every issue which concerned policy. And individuals, cabinet, we don't comment publicly because we are not in the government. We were not in the government. We are not part of the coalition.
But you're saying something very strange. This was a cabinet reshuffle done perhaps at America's behest to bring pro-Americans in, to pursue a pro-American line. You were aware of it. You protested in private, but in public you kept quiet.
Not about the reshuffle. I said the policies we protested.
But if you were aware that the reshuffle was pro-American...
not our government. It's a Congress government. They can bring anybody they want.
But without your support, the government would never have survived. You could have brought it down.
We are not a coalition partner. That is why we withdrew support, because of the continuous pro-US position.
But you didn't withdraw support till 2 years later.
No, but everybody knew from 2005, if you see every record, from the military agreement, to the nuclear agreement, to the joint statement, to the energy policy, to the attitude to Iran, everything. Everybody knew for 2 years we were fighting the nuclear government.
Accept that people knew that you had policy differences. What I find bizarre is that you were also aware that cabinet changes were happening at America's behest and you said nothing about it. You didn't even speak out in public about it.
Because the whole government was pro-US, headed by the Prime Minister.
You could have brought the government down. You could have brought the government down. You chose not to. You acquiesced.
We brought the government down after they went ahead with all those policies.
But you acquiesced over the reshuffle.
You don't know. The 2-year struggle was there, which everybody knew.
You have no conscience about this.
We fought it publicly.
You don't think people think it's bizarre that you knew about money reshuffle?
You are talking about conscience. We were the only people in this country, when the entire corporate media were pro-American, when this government was pro-American, when the Congress leadership was pro-American, surrendered to America, we were the only ones who
My
fought
last question. You're not worried, leave aside embarrassed, that people will say he knew it was being done at America's behest, and yet he kept quiet about money being removed and
not only one money. Why are you talking about money? I'm saying from the Prime Minister onwards, they were like this.
All right. I'll leave it there. But I think this is an issue that will probably attract great attention in the future.
This is not an issue. This is a question of how we fought this government, and still the WikiLeaks shows they're pursuing those policies.
Mr. Karat, a pleasure talking to you.